Hey everyone, if you've been to my channel before, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, my name is Ross and I'm an intuitive counselor. Really super passionate about helping women and men who are tired of living their life for others and are ready to put themselves first. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about embracing your shadow. And shadow seems to be a word that has been thrown around a lot right now in the personal growth field. However, it's my opinion that it is a really, really powerful place to transform ourselves. And what I love about shadow work is that you can do it on your own. And really, it's about putting yourself in a place of taking responsibility for how you engage the world. The thing about that, though, is that it's kind of tricky because in relationship, we are constantly seeing a reflection of ourselves in the people that we're reacting with. Funny I said that, reacting with. But that is the truth. It is the people we're relating with, but we have a reaction to them. And that reaction is the part that we can take responsibility for. And so maybe I'll just take a quick step back. So, what is the shadow? The shadow is the parts of ourselves that we reject, suppress, or deny. So, in our relationships, in our early relationships, we would have had experiences where we came to a conclusion that it was not okay to be a certain way. And we took that way of being and we kind of hid it behind us so that no one would see it and so that it wouldn't have an impact on our relationships. But that way of being wants to emerge. That way of being wants to have a part in your life. And so it's constantly trying to find its way back to you. And the way that that shows up is in the reflection that we get in our relationships with others. And as I already said, that usually shows up as in the form of some sort of reaction that we have to that person in front of us. So this is kind of a beautiful thing because it means that we heal in relationship. In other words, if we can find the strength within ourselves to take responsibility for what is being reflected to us and do some contemplation around it, then we can start to shift our way of internal being and not have that reaction anymore. And then we start to take back and embrace these pieces of ourselves that we've suppressed, um, denied, or put in behind us. So easier said than done? Well, it's not exactly easy, but it is possible. And just like, waxing a car, there's layers to this work. And so it's not something that goes away, but it is something that is rooted in our early experiences. And so every time that we have a reaction to someone, it's an invitation to do some work. And I will say a quick caveat that when it comes to someone abusing us or someone who's abusive, that's not the time to self-reflect. That's a time to set a boundary and make a choice that is empowering. Now, when it comes to how we work with our shadow and how we can find out what the reflection is, it's a process of really asking ourselves like questions like, when is the earliest time that I felt this way? What part of my body am I feeling this in? What is it that I'm judging in this other person? And usually what that comes back to is a way that you have been judged yourself. And usually there's an opposite piece that is wanting to emerge. So if you think of the example of someone who, imagine that you had a sibling that would always cut you off when you were talking or would, invalidate what it was that you were saying, then your voice is what's being suppressed. And so you might have a reaction when a friend of yours talks over you. You might get angry, you might get frustrated. And as you dig into it, you remember this experience of being cut off by your brother. And then you realize that, the gift that is trying to emerge, the part of yourself that's trying to come back, is you allowing yourself to have a voice, allowing yourself to express. And then the real work is giving yourself permission to utilize your voice, to speak louder, to speak when it's appropriate, and to share your voice rather than hiding it or suppressing it. So that's just one example. As a quick note, another area that I use a lot when it comes to shadow work is the gene keys, because the gene keys, which is a body of work from Richard Rudd, which relates to the I Ching, and I'll probably do another video about specifically using the gene keys as a tool. Um, but it really highlights and emphasizes our actual shadow. So it's like it tells us how we show up with that shadow, either in a suppressed way or a repressed way, or in an active way where we're outwardly um, using that shadow, against others. So lots of tools that can help. And I will say that I think shadow work is the biggest path to reclaiming ourselves incrementally and really taking away those layers of the onion, and it shows us the experiences that we've had that have contributed to dimming our light. And so ultimately shadow work, although it sounds like a dark process or a dark piece of work, it is always about revealing our light and revealing our gold, and letting that light shine back in the world. So it's kind of like a little bit of detective work and a little bit of looking inside, and embracing those parts of ourselves that really just need to be nurtured and loved and supported to come out in the world. So anyway, I think I'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate your interactions. If you like this video, please consider subscribing if you want to see other videos in the future. If you know someone who might benefit, consider sharing it. And as I've said before, if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, I would love it if you share that in the comments, because I would love to respond. I'm at my best when I respond rather than, coming up with my own topics. So I'd love to have that interaction. And if you want to learn more about my services and what I offer, you can find that link to my website in the notes. And I'll just end by sending you unconditional love, and I will see you again next time.